But we had some news come down the wire in the last break. And it's that Jalen Brunson, not Brown, Jalen Brunson has signed an extension with the New York Knicks, and it's going to save the Knicks a lot of money. I'm reading here from Adrian Wojnarowski. In a largely unprecedented financial concession to give roster flexibility to a contender, Knicks star Jalen Brunson has agreed on a 4-year, $156.5 million extension, according to his agent Sam Rose at CAA. $113 million less guaranteed than he's eligible to receive in 1 year. So 1 year meaning a year from now in free agency.
So that's about $40 million, just for the record. It's like 39 point something.
Per year?
Per year, yeah.
Got it. Woj says the repercussions of Brunson choosing this extension instead of a 5-year, $269 million deal in 2025. So remember, he's not eligible for $269 million right now. So he's getting fronted money, just FYI. For all the concessions he's making, he's getting his money now as opposed to putting it off. But they can keep making roster moves to close the gap on a championship. The deal, which cost Brunson $37.1 over the next 3 years, comes with a 4-year player option, Rose said, and would set up Brunson to recoup the rest of the $113 million on a 4-year, $323 million extension in 2028 or a 5-year, blah, 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 blah. Okay, too many numbers. But here's what you need to know. The cap savings the next 3 years to get to the 37.1. He's going to save him almost $12 million in 26, $12.5 million in 27, 13 and change in 28. So he's taking less to keep the Knicks competitive and add what I would consider like a nice mid-roster kind of player, but not Giannis, who we were talking about earlier. What do we think of this concession? And is it a problem for the Celtics? Or if that's too strong, is this just a thing the Celtics should be keeping their eyes on? Travis.
This is a problem. It's a major problem. Kudos to Jalen Brunson for actually caring about his team and his franchise and doing this. I'm just looking this up, guys. I mean, Steph Curry makes $53 million a year. Dame Lillard makes $44. Luka $43. Trae Young $43.
Anunoby makes $43.
I mean, Ben Simmons makes already more than Jalen Brunson. Will continue to do so. What Jalen Brunson has just done, and some of this is the luxury of playing in New York City, where he's already beloved. I'm sure he's on every local commercial there is, and that will continue. He's going to get plenty of endorsements in his own city that help out and supplement. But what he just did, we can't poo-poo this, because when you look at some of the scrubs in this league getting paid because of this new TV deal and these teams flush with cash, Jalen Brunson essentially is making minimum wage in NBA world, and he is an absolute stud all-star player.
Who's the guy that was on the Knicks that's now in Toronto? We were talking about his contract off the air the other day. Quickly?
Emmanuel Quickly.
This is kind of like the same AAV Emmanuel Quickly's getting in Toronto.
That's my point.
Yeah.
And now, when you look at there are no big name players per se left on the free agent market, but what do the Knicks need? Because they run into the ground. Tibbs runs that franchise in the ground. He runs his players in the ground. He has a history of it.
They need another player from Villanova.
And we saw it happen and manifest towards the end of the regular season when they were losing pieces, and then we certainly saw it in the playoffs where they fell apart at the seams health-wise. They need depth. If you look at available players now,
I mean, they have depth now.
Well,
I'd say
no,
bringing in Bridges and
remember what I said. That team, the way they play, the way that coach runs them, they need depth more than we think about depth. They need an extra level of depth. Look at the players available on the free agent market now. You could afford all of them if you're the Knicks. Tyus Jones, Gary Trent, Spencer Dinwiddie, Gordon Hayward's of the world, Pat Bev, Jay Crowder.
Okay, but I hear all those names. Any of those guys make a difference?
Of course not. For now, you add depth. With years to come, you now have flexibility to go out. Oh, this big name player's available. We can afford him. Now all of a sudden, you're really doing what the Celtics did. You're following the Celtics model now. It took a Jalen Brunson deal to do this, to give you that type of flexibility, but that's what they're going to do.
Can I ask you, put yourself in Wick's shoes for a moment, Wick's penny loafers for a moment. Like, he's like, wait a minute, we can ask guys to take less? My dad just made me sell the basketball team. we could have asked Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum to take less. We could have spun it the way that Woj is he's taking so much less and he's going to keep the Knicks a contender and all this. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but just like, We could have asked our guys to do this. My dad would still let me have the team if we asked guys to take less money. So, like, I don't know. Should any part of you as a Celtics fan be like, yeah, why is Jalen Brunson doing this and the guys here won't do that?
That's a good question.
I mean, Derek White just took the full – and good for Derek White. I don't feel this way, but I'm wondering if any fans feel that way where it's like, well, Derek White could have taken a little less. Maybe the luxury tax bill will be down and the Celtics can stay.
Derek White did take – Derek White and
longer.
Drew Holiday took less.
I thought Derek White took a max deal for what he could get.
The difference is Tatum and Brown were drafted here, developed here. There's a certain I deserve this, which is fine. Jalen Brunson, you must remember, the Mavericks spurned him.
Yep. Right.
Him and Luka worked.
Luka spurned them.
And Luka spurned him and Porzingis, but that's another topic for another day.
They made a Western Conference final.
And they said, take a walk, kid. Yeah. And New York paid him.
Well, and New York got ripped for that. New York got ripped for that contract, yeah.
Now he feels loved. Okay, you showed me that love. Cool. Now I'm going to give it back to you.
Just real quick.
Let's build a super team.
Am I wrong? Derek White didn't take a max deal for what he's eligible for. I thought it was the max deal he could get.
Derek White on the open market in this NBA with this TV deal could have made more money. There's no question.
I thought he got the max. I thought it was the max offer he was eligible for. You're saying if he saw it through and went through for another year. I see what you're saying. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, White could have been a free agent the next offseason.
Right. I get what you're saying. So the most he could have gotten right now is what he got. But if he waited it out and saw, I get what you're saying. Yeah, fair enough.